Hey guys, today we're going to ride out to a neighborhood here in central St. Petersburg, Florida called Magnolia Heights. Now it's a pretty small neighborhood. There's only about 500 houses in the entire neighborhood, and there's actually only 10 houses for sale. We're going to take a look at two of them. One is a completely renovated net zero house that is priced well above the average for the neighborhood, so I'm curious to see why. And then the other house is a fairly recently renovated 3-bedroom, 2-bath that is priced right at the neighborhood average. So I'm interested to see which one might be worth it and which one might be overpriced. Now, Magnolia Heights is a great neighborhood. There's no flood zone there. There's a pretty good school district, and it's adjacent to some really nice neighborhoods like Crescent Lake and Woodlawn. It's also pretty much close to everything, so location is great as well. So let's take a ride out to Magnolia Heights, see what we find. Hey guys, my name is Steve Reynolds. I'm a realtor here in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. If you were thinking about moving to St. Pete or anywhere in Pinellas County, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. Love to help you out. On this channel, we every week ride out to a neighborhood, check out a couple of houses for sale, try to get a feel for areas and prices per square foot and trends and all that kind of stuff. So if you're thinking about buying a house, hit the subscribe button, watch the video, make some comments, let me know if you're thinking about moving here, what neighborhoods you'd like me to see and review. You know, we haven't even been out to the beaches yet, so we'll probably be doing that soon. We've covered a lot of the historic neighborhoods here, and we always do it on this right here, which is my Royal Enfield. I just think that the best way to get to know a neighborhood, obviously walking is probably the best way, but secondarily to that is riding a motorcycle. I found that I've learned more about a neighborhood just cruising through the streets really slowly on my motorcycle than I do in my car. So whenever I can, I get out, try to shoot a video and cruise through one of these great St. Petersburg, Florida neighborhoods. So let's take a ride. There's some newer, not brand new construction, probably 15 or 20 years old, and similar houses. So obviously probably one builder put all that together. So you get a real mix in here of older sort of cottage style, some newer sort of colonial style, and then lots and lots of houses that have just been expanded, added onto, and converted into slightly larger living area. So you can see most of these houses are the modest 2-1s on this particular street. And as we're pulling up, get a good angle at 3311 Melton. So there it is right there. It's 3311 Melton. And they have this house priced at $629,000 after a $10,000 price drop. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,140 square feet. And if you're looking to buy a house in St. Petersburg, Florida, you're going to see that 1,140 square foot number a lot, because that is one of the most common houses in the central part of St. Pete. You can see one-car garage. Next to that, there was at one point an open breezeway that's been enclosed to add a little bit more square footage. And then you walk into a living room, small kitchen, and the 2 bedrooms are on the left-hand side. And in this case, this particular seller turned that breezeway into the 3rd bedroom and then put the 2nd bathroom in the garage. So this house is priced at $553 a square foot, which is significantly higher than average for this neighborhood. I think the average is around $425. We'll double check that. But it is built as a net zero home. That means it produces as much energy as it uses, and that's typically done through insulation and the use of solar. Usually you see that designation on a new build, but obviously they've done it here, so they must have, I mean, obviously the solar is there, the solar's paid off, and the house it's blocked, so it's fairly well insulated anyway. You know, the highlights are we're in an X flood zone here, which means flood insurance would be optional. This is a low-risk flood zone. The sellers indicated that they're open to selling the furnishings as well. And remember, if you're a first-time home buyer, This usually cannot be included in the contract itself. Mortgage companies don't like to see you buying anything else but the house as part of the contract. So that's often done outside of the contract, just sort of a bill of sale. And then the money for the furniture can be collected at closing if you choose to do that. Lot size here is 70 by 110, so it's big and deep. You could put a pool back there. Possibly, I think an accessory dwelling unit would go back there too. Looks like from the pictures, the original hardwood floors. I mean, this is a really tasteful renovation. Those look like glossy kind of Euro style cabinets, is how they have that kitchen set up, and it's a nice sized living area, separate dining area off the kitchen, good sized primary bedrooms, nice fixtures in the bathrooms. The bathrooms are small. They're, I say small, they're tiny. There's not much more room in there except the sink, toilet, and shower. And there's not a lot of floor space. These are not what you would see in a new build primary suite, but it is typical for this style home. And the laundry is in the garage. That backyard is pretty big. It's got a nice deck. It looks like a Trex composite deck back there with PVC fencing all around, so you get some nice privacy and shade. This house has a lot of nice touches, I'll tell you. And then the benefit of the solar, which the seller indicates is paid off. So you have to factor in on a house this size, maybe $200 a month savings on electric. And then you pay $35 a month to the power company for the hookup. And if you produce more than you use, you can sell that back. So, that really should be factored in, a couple $100 a month. The roof is 3 years old, water heater, 3 years old. There's a new sewer line. And, just basically looking at this, we're talking about a 2021 or 2022 total renovation. So, this house is ready to go, perfectly move-in ready. All the systems are in good shape. Obviously, do an inspection. If you were to make an offer that was accepted on a house like this. The downside is that second bathroom is in the garage. That's not anybody's ideal for a second bathroom, but it's nice. Not as convenient, but it is pretty nice. And again, this house layout is super common. I mean, there are thousands of these houses in St. Pete, and they've been reconfigured all sorts of ways. So, to sum it up, I'd say, this is a really recent renovation with all newer systems and paid off solar. That's a big, big plus. Huge backyard that you could put in addition or an accessory dwelling unit. But let's think about this for a minute here. This is 1,140 square feet. This is a super common size house. And, it's just in my experience, a market for buyers with $629,000 to spend on, under 1,200 square feet is going to be a little bit limited. This has a higher end feel to it for sure. And it's a 3.2, so, that's a little bit more difficult to find. But I'm just wondering that, whether or not the price per square foot would be on the upper end of the range. I don't know, double check to see if this would set a record for Magnolia Heights. I mean, it's just really, really high. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Would you pay $629 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with only 1,140 square feet, where the second bathroom, although a full bath, is in the garage? Beautiful house, solar, big backyard, looks to be really nicely renovated, not in a flood zone. Let me know your thoughts. It's a little too pricey because we're going to go to another house that's bigger and cheaper. So let me know your thoughts. We're going to cruise over to 3222 14th Street and check that one out. All right, so here's the second house here, right on the left. And we're like literally one street over from the other house. I mean, one street over. So there's no argument to be made. It's in a different section of the neighborhood, or a nicer section of the neighborhood. It is just a street over. So let me spin this camera around, and here we have 3222 14th Street North. This is a 1,352 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, listed at $579, which is $428 a square foot. The other house we just saw was $553. And $428 is right at the neighborhood average. Now, I mean, when I saw the picture online, I thought not as much curb appeal maybe, but it's actually quite nice and very clean. It's got some mature landscaping in the front. Scrolling the interior pictures, the kitchen has newer cabinets and granite tile backsplash. A decent sized living room. And it looks like both bathrooms are recent renovations. Bedrooms are good size. And a nice storage shed. So, I mean, this house maybe doesn't have, I don't know, the absolute polish, or maybe not as high-end reno as the other house. And of course doesn't have the solar, but it looks pretty nice. And you know, this is actually the same setup as the other house. It looks like it was a 2-1 that had a breezeway that wasn't closed. And then it looks like to get that extra bedroom, they used the garage and turned that into a primary bedroom with a full bathroom. So, you know, the footprint of the house is, you know, pretty similar. You know, started its life as a 2-1 and has been added onto. This one is 1,352 square feet versus 1,140 for the other house. But of course, you've got no garage now, but you do have a carport here. Now, this one is in a flood zone X. And looking at the pricing history, it started at $585 and then went under contract pretty quickly. Looks like the contract fell through, and then they put it back on the market at $579 in December, and that's where it sits now. And but you can also ask your realtor to find out why the contract fell through. They will disclose that. So if it was an inspection issue, you can always ask if whatever the issue was is fixed, or would it be fixed. Or if it was just financing or perhaps cold feet, but it's always good to know if there was an issue where somebody backed out because of the condition of the house going in, because then you can negotiate that also on the front end to see about getting that done, getting those things fixed. So that is house number 2, you know, 3222 14th Street North at $579. This house is priced at $428 a square foot. You know, I would argue that condition is really, really nice. I don't know that it's got quite the high-end feel of our first house, but at $428 a square foot versus $553, and we already know it's been under contract, probably around this price, tells me that this house is priced about right. So we'll see if it goes under contract again and what it closes at. But this is a pretty good buy here, I would say. So let me know in the comments what you think. You know, 2 houses, one at the neighborhood average, one substantially higher than the neighborhood average. $553 a square foot is a lot, but we'll see if the neighborhood can support that. It should be interesting. So drop a comment. Let me know. As always, I am a realtor here in St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Steve Reynolds, and hope you enjoyed our tour of what I would call the up-and-coming neighborhood of Magnolia Heights. You know, there was a time in here that a lot of the houses were, you know, not in great shape, to be honest with you. This was not a terribly popular neighborhood, but as the adjacent neighborhoods, Crescent Heights and Woodlawn, Crescent Lake, and some of these other neighborhoods started to come back, prices got pushed up. Obviously, people then start to look at the next neighborhood over, and that's what's happening in here. You're seeing lots of renovation activity, and you're seeing the prices that go along with it. Pretty small neighborhood, though. 500 houses, only 10 houses for sale right now. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you're thinking about moving to St. Petersburg, Florida, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. Love to help you out with your relocation. Let me know what you're looking for, and as always, make some comments below. Let me know what you thought of these houses. Hit the subscribe button so we can keep bringing you some great videos of these beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida neighborhoods. And until next time, I will see you.